Hey y'all, this is a video that I think needs to just be made, needs to be talked about more. And since last week's video was on the topic of consistency, I think that this is going to be a great follow-up video to that. And the whole premise of this video is essentially, even though we're trying to practice and be more consistent, at some point we're going to have a bad game. So in this video, I'm just going to go over like what to do when we have a bad game and how we can fix it. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So to set the stage, let's just pretend that you've queued 3 games, and let's say you MVP'd the first 2, and the third one you didn't manage to get the MVP, but you were the second top frag on your team. And then you queue up for another match because you're feeling it, and to your utter horror, you're just losing every gunfight you're taking. You're not able to clutch any rounds. All of the rounds you're winning is because your team is carrying you, and you're just overall not having a good time. The whole goal of this video is to cover what to do when this happens to you, and just what it means. Now the first point and the main point of this video is that good players will have bad games. It doesn't matter who you are, if you're Iron 1, if you're Immortal 2, at some point you're gonna have a bad game, you're gonna lose, you're gonna bottom frag. You know, at some point in your career you're just not gonna have a good match, and that's okay, right? Like, no one's perfect, we can't expect to be perfect. So don't let it get to you that much. You know, everyone has a bad games. Hopefully you haven't had a 0 kill game. I had one a couple months ago where I dropped a goose egg 0-19. I'm never playing Killjoy ever again. But yeah, like at some point you're just not gonna do good, and in order to, correct it, that's something you have to realize, right? Like at some point it's gonna slip. You're not gonna be a perfect player all the time. Now the first and most obvious thing is that if you have a bad game, just take a break, get off the game, go do something else, go outside, touch some grass. We play games, we don't do that a whole lot, so it's good to do it when we get the chance. Just do something else to take your mind off of it. And if you really do want to keep playing, just don't queue ranked, like go queue a Swift play or a team deathmatch. Just do something that on the game, if you're going to play, that isn't ranked and isn't going to make you like feel bad. But the better choice is to, just get off, and usually that'll, you get back on later, everything's good again. But in the situation where, it's not, you get back on, you're still kind of playing bad, just take some time to, dedicate some time to practice. Play like a few team death matches, like more than normal, and just, get practice in, because you need to build your confidence back up. And that's the one thing that happens when you have a bad game, is you lose your confidence, and it just makes you a worse player and you don't even realize it, because you're not going to be taking fights that you usually take that you would win. You're going to be like super scared of, playing bad and losing, that you're just not, you're not going to be good, and it's just, it is what it is. But, you have to get that confidence back if you want to play at the level you were playing at. So what we just covered is everything to handle the aftermath of a bad game, but the main focus of this video and what I really want to instill in you is how to handle the match during the bad game, because what we do during the bad game could turn it from a loss to a victory, just because we start playing a little different. So the first thing is, obviously, as hard as it's going to be, try your best to keep your mental right. Even though everything is stacked against you, you have to keep your mental. And I mean, I'm guilty of it too, where I lose my mental and it caused me to lose my game. But you have to keep your mental. Like it is really that important to keep your mental, especially in a bad game. Now, the second thing to do is to rely on your teammates. I know I've talked so much about how your teammates are awful and how you need to rely on yourself, but when you can't rely on yourself, you have to rely on someone else, right? If you really want to win and you really want to, get the outcome you desire, you're going to have to rely on someone else at some point. So the first thing is to, play around your teammates. If you can still get kills, you're just not getting quote-unquote lucky. Maybe use your teammates as bait, try to swing off of them, swing with them, and just do whatever you can to make the fights as unfair for the enemy as possible, netting you more kills and netting your team more kills, and getting more impact on the round. And the next thing is to not focus on your KD, but focus on your impact, right? Like, you could be, 4 and 13, but all 4 of your kills are in important rounds where we needed that pick, or it was a 2K clutch. Like, if you can have an impact on the game versus your KD, just focus on the impact, and you can just have more influence on the game and net more wins. And then the other thing is, if you're like doing really bad, you can't even aim, do what's called being carryable. And now what that means is find the best player on your team and just do everything to make him win, right? Like if he needs a smoke to get on site, you're going to throw that smoke. You're going to follow in right behind him. Just do everything you can to make every gunfight that he takes advantageous to him. Because if he's just already frying and you make it easier for him to fry, it's going to be so much easier to win that game. And one thing also to remember is to, breathe. Just, take a few deep breaths and just let the rational mind start coming in. You can't really think with your emotions. Again, this is going back to having the good mental. Just take some time to take a few deep breaths and just really focus your mind and calm your mind so that you can just think with a clear head, and maybe it'll even help you start getting more kills because you won't just be like autopiloting and tilting when you die. And one more thing that's just going to sound really stupid is make sure you're drinking enough water, because I know when I play sometimes I just forget to drink water and then I start playing worse because I'm thirsty. Just make sure that you're filling up on everything before you start playing and keeping yourself full while you're playing, because if you start losing resources and you don't replenish them, like the dehydration is going to impact how you're thinking, it's going to impact how fast you're reacting. Same with sleep. Make sure you're also getting enough sleep. That's another thing that can just help bolster your play so you don't have bad games as often, is just taking care of your body and making sure you're stocked up on everything that you need. And then it will also be easier to pull yourself out of the bad game if you are at 100% and able to think clearly and rationally. And that about sums it up for this video. I know it was really short and everything, but again, this is kind of just a quote-unquote filler video because I'm still working on hitting Immortal. And so far we're up a little over 100 RR. We're back in Ascendant 3, so if I don't have any bad games, I'll be hitting Immortal soon. And it looks like I'm going to have to do 2 Immortal videos for the clickbait. One is just going to be like a full live game of the Immortal, like it's going to be the full game of the rank up, and then the next video is going to be some cringe like tips that got me to Immortal just because I'm trying to farm those views. But anyway, that's all. See ya.